Joining me now is a co-sponsor of the Women's Health Protection Act, Democratic Senator from Hawaii, Mazie Hirono. Senator, thank you for being with us. This bill, I don't have to tell you, enshrines into law a women's right to an abortion and protects health providers' rights to provide those abortion services. But it doesn't have the support it needs to pass in the Senate. It is highly unlikely to even get to 50 votes. Do you agree with this strategy of having a vote on Wednesday, knowing what you're going to see?
Yes, I do. It's really important for the people of America, and especially all the women who are going to be impacted by the Supreme Court decision, where each senator stands in terms of protecting a woman's right to control her own body.
But if the failed vote is step one, what's step two, step three towards actually getting those protections in place where they'll be needed?
What's next is that we need to take it to the polls. You know, as Justice Alito cavalierly puts it, all you women out there whose rights we're stripping, you can just go out and vote. And so now women are going to have to, and those who support a woman's right to choose, going to have to use our energy and resources to win back a right, a constitutionally protected right that we thought we had for almost 50 years.
You say the next step is to go to the polls, but there is the other possibility out here. There's two Republican senators in the Senate who broadly support abortion rights. One of them is Lisa Murkowski, and she thinks this bill goes too far. I want to read what she said in a statement in February when this bill failed the first time. She wrote, "The fact that my choice is between this bill or nothing at all shows how insincere Majority Leader Schumer is about protecting women's rights. Failing to conduct any outreach, reducing this important issue to nothing more than a designed-to-fail show vote is a disservice to women across America." I know you don't agree with that, but is there room perhaps for compromise with Senators Murkowski and Collins on some other piece of this effort?
As far as I knew, both of those senators had supported Roe. So, you know, for all this time, I don't think they took the position that Roe went too far. So, no, I do not agree with their positions now.
No room for compromise, no room for a compromise bill here?
All this bill does is protect a right, a constitutional right that women in this country had for almost 50 years. That's what this bill does. It's hardly what I call radical, Garrett.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you about Speaker Pelosi. She just put out a Dear Colleague letter this morning, kind of talking to her members about how they will talk about this issue. And in it, she writes, Republicans have made clear that their goal will be to seek to criminalize abortion nationwide. Make no mistake, once Republicans have dispensed with the precedent in privacy in overturning Roe, they will take aim at additional basic human rights. Obviously, this is after Mitch McConnell said that a national ban on abortions wasn't off the table if Republicans take back power in November. Do you agree with the Speaker's outline of the stakes here, not just on abortion rights, but potentially on things like marriage equality or access to contraception?
Yes, I do, because Justice Alito, in his draft opinion, gives privacy rights, one of the underpinnings of Roe, short shrift, you know? And so I would say our privacy rights are at issue, and that goes for Obergefell, which is the Marital Equality Act. And Justice Alito has already signaled, along with Justice Thomas, he would like to revisit Obergefell. So there you have it. And Mitch McConnell has already signaled that a nationwide abortion ban will not be off the table if Republicans take both the House and the Senate. So they're telling us what they're going to do.
So in light of all that, I guess I would ask if you think the party broadly, the Democratic Party, is doing enough to meet the urgency of this moment. I mean, we obviously talked about the vote in the Senate. Do you need to see more from the White House? I mean, does there need to be kind of a four-alarm fire response to this?
I view this as very urgent because it is a right. I keep repeating, you know, it is a right that women in this country had for almost 50 years. And meanwhile, I sit on the Judiciary Committee, as you know, and all the Republicans talk about is how shocked they are at the leak. Well, they're not shocked that women in this country are going to lose a right they thought they had for 50 years. And what's going to follow is, well, at least one state after this leak has already passed a law that will make abortion a felony. So what are they going to do? They're going to go after women. They're going to go after doctors. We're going to create a whole new crime, federal crime, out of this whole controversy, if you can call it that. And this is more than a controversy. This is women's right to control our own bodies.
I was in Texas last week, and I spent some time with Beto O'Rourke, who's running for governor down there, and he makes the argument on the stump that this is not about It's not about health care from the Republican perspective. It's not even really about abortion. He says it's about control and about power. Is that the kind of language you'd like to see Democrats using on the stump out in the country as you try to frame this issue as a choice for the voters?
Well, considering that it is about controlling a woman's bodies, yes, it is about control. But, you know, I look to our candidates to talk about it in the way that makes sense for their constituents. And Beto talks about it that way. Well, the way I talk about it is that the Republicans care more about the leak than they care about protecting a woman's right to control her own body. That is shocking.
I want to ask you about the rest of the Democratic agenda for this Congress. You know, we got the reproductive rights bill on Wednesday. Build Back Better has been mostly dead since December, but now Joe Manchin is expressing interest in passing something before November. We know he's the key player here. There's this slimmed-down child care proposal floating around out there. What do you think your party in the Senate is most likely to get accomplished now before the midterms?
If we can get portions of Build Back Better, including tax reform, so that the richest people and corporations in our country can pay their fair share, I'm all for that, because that is the biggest accomplishment of the Republicans, was to make sure that their friends got over $1 trillion in tax breaks. So I'll take that. And whatever else that we can do that will lower the cost of living for people in this country.
Starting with tax reform, that is Joe Manchin's warm-up music, if I've ever heard it. Senator Hirono, Russell Rotunda, thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you.